Hello.
Hey, okay, we got disconnected really bad. So,
Yeah, no, I know. Can you? I can't see you at the moment, but hold on.
can you? Okay, cool. Can you see me?
I have. I mean, I can.
Cool.
I
Off.
can.
Okay, cool. Right on.
Okay,
So,
brilliant. What were we saying? Oh yeah. Okay, so after Labor Day weekend, then they go back to school, right? The kids and
yes,
stuff.
the
Okay.
kitties. Yes.
Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. Um, so thank you first of all for agreeing to do this. I'm glad that it's crazy that it's taken us. I feel like I've known you like 18 months, maybe a bit longer. I'm not sure now actually, but
I know.
it is the first time that I've actually caught you on video because I'm like you've just always been the mysterious figure with the image on WhatsApp, and I'm like, who the fuck is this chick, yo?
I know, right? Oh my gosh, yeah.
Oh,
So,
it's all good. It's all good. So yeah, what I wanted to do basically on this call was to just yeah, just sit down and talk to you like completely casual. Just about like our relationship with its ups and its downs as well, and kind of how it's where we're at today. And that's it, dude. That's it, really.
just go from there. Okay,
Yeah, yeah.
cool.
So, hello everybody, if you're watching this. It's like, oh, Deepak's put on his presenting voice. So, guys, welcome to the lovely Brandy Makuze. Are you French born, or what? Your last name? Are you like French Canadian originally, or because you're in San Diego, right? No, or San Francisco? What?
Yeah, no, San Diego.
Yeah,
San
yeah,
Diego.
yeah.
Yeah. And so my great grandfather, he's French, but I'm not a lick of it, frankly. So, it kind of has it's
Yeah,
gone. So,
it's
yeah.
all good.
Yeah.
You sound a lot more American to my untrained ear than you do French. But I did wonder. I was like, very cool last
Yeah.
name. So you don't see, well, very cool first name. Brandy isn't typical either, is it? Is it? I don't know. I don't know. In the States, is it typical? I don't know any Brandies, and I've never met a Brandy apart from you or
Oh,
the ones that
really?
I drink.
Well, I've never met I've never met a Deepak, so
Go to
yeah.
India, my friend, and it's like fucking Sam, Richard, or George, or some shit. But I'm not in England. I'm not in India, and neither are you. So that's how it
Yeah.
goes. So look, I was looking. I've been looking forward to this call for a while. I just wanted to talk to you about. Well, first of all, for everyone that's listening, Brandy and I have known each other for a couple of years,
Yep.
18 months, 2 years, something like this. And I feel like, was it through Facebook that we met?
Uh,
Maybe.
I think it was LinkedIn. I mean, you just wouldn't stop posting stuff. So I kind of just was like, who in the world is this guy?
Who is
Like
this
what's
dude?
what's going on here? Yeah.
Was this when I was doing those videos? Hey guys! And it was like just me fucking walking up a high
I think
street. Like,
I think I think so.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah, yeah, that
Yep.
makes sense.
You're yeah.
And
So
I wanted to, in your own words, hear from yourself about like just the process of us meeting, us kind of getting to know each other, and then the kind of commercial and professional side of our relationship that we've undergone with its ups and its downs and its ups and kind of where we're at today. So I'd love if you could just tell the people listening, yo. Aside from Deepak being like amazing, obviously, why else would we do a video interview? But just to hear from you about like how it's been from your perspective.
right, right, definitely. So uh I mean you hit the nail on the head, right? I mean, ups and downs for sure. But I mean, being a business owner yourself, it is what it is. It's going to happen, right? So I tend to just, kind of roll with the punches sometimes, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, we met on LinkedIn. I saw you're doing SEO stuff. I was like, well, I'm gonna wait, see if this guy sticks around long, because it's the digital marketing agencies, you're up one day and the next day you're closed,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
So, so I wanted to see if you were real, right? Turns out you were, and then so I saw the lead generation you were doing, and I knew LinkedIn would be a great revenue source in terms of generating business and whatnot. So I figured, why not, right? Why not see what you guys are doing? Um, worked with you. I worked with Kaz, and
It
we
was
know the story,
well.
right?
These guys don't, because it was a bit shitty from your perspective. I think, if I'm being
Yeah,
honest, like it was like I don't want you to
yeah,
feel that you need to edit it. Like you could say it was like shit. Frankly, I mean, it was definitely like a setback in our relationship.
yeah, yeah, most definitely. But bad partners. And I mean, yeah, I mean the quality of leads, right? They just weren't there at first, but I appreciated the effort. And in terms of, you guys trying to work things out, obviously it didn't go that way, right? I was like, Deepak, for better words, like what the fuck is going on here? And if I had like mafia or something like that, I could have sent them, on you. But I was like, no, no, I'm kidding. I wouldn't do that. No, I wouldn't do that. But anyway, so yeah, so then really, we had a lovely chat and you're just like, I'm sorry. And you filled me in what was going on as to like, your business partners or relationship.
There were
It
some
didn't turn out too
challenges. Yeah.
well. Right, right, most definitely. And like I myself going through that firsthand understood that. So I was just like, well, shit, let's just do an SEO campaign. And that's when you offered like, hey, you know, we can either do a lead gen
Well, because
campaign again.
you spent a couple of $1,000 with us. You didn't get any kind of commercial result from it. There was some effort involved, and then I felt. I mean, Kaz, my ex business partner and I, we had our own challenges, which of course were irrelevant to the delivery of your campaign, but they did impact ultimately the delivery of your campaign, and I guess it kind of sucked a little bit because there was a stage where you spent several $1,000s with us, and it was just like I don't really have much to show for it.
Right, right, most definitely,
Yeah.
definitely. And it's not like, I'm independently wealthy or something like that, no trust fund maybe. But anyway, um, so yeah, so you're like, well, we can do it again, or, shit, I'll run you an SEO campaign. And so I said, let's do like what you're best with. And so we did SEO. We're still doing SEO.
And how long?
And
It's been like 4.5 months now, something like that, maybe.
yeah, yeah, 4.5 months. And it's
What
been great, honestly.
what was your Let me ask you this. So we've done the lead gen stuff together, right? It's not
Right.
gone. You've got an impression of me thinking this guy's competent. He really does know what he's doing. I think this is a good guy to kind of get into bed with and spend some money with and build a relationship.
Right.
It didn't fucking work. I guess two things. What what made you decide to stick with it? Because you, of course, said, "Look, Deepak, I'd appreciate like a refund. Probably, I think refund would have been great at that stage." And I think that there were some financial troubles with that business at that stage. But what made you, for example, just decide to be like, you know what, let me just give this let me give this a second chance rather than this guy's burnt bridges now. Fuck it.
Right, right, most definitely. I would say I would say it was two things. Number one, when you work with business owners, you understand that who they are as a person is a reflection of how they do business, how they treat their employers, their customers, clients, etc. And based upon the experiences I've had with you, I know you keep your word and you let your like yes mean yes, right? And so I was like, yeah, shit went downhill with one thing, but SEOs it's his bread and butter. It's what he truly excels at. So, why not give that a chance? I
Yeah.
know Deepak a little bit outside of the commercial and business work we've done together. So based upon who you are and who runs the business, you can tell a lot about how they're going
Yeah.
to operate, how they're going to treat their clients and so forth. And so I figured, why not?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And I'm thankful that you did. I mean, it sucked at that stage. You weren't, for example, the only. Unfortunately for us, it wasn't you alone who had a negative experience coming out of the debacle with my business partner and I, and I was kind of left left holding left holding the. I don't remember the expression, but I was just left holding the shit that had come out of the other end of it, and
Yeah.
I'm I'm pleased to, to be here with you, because thankfully the SEO campaign was a lot more positive.
Oh, most definitely, definitely. And I mean, in terms of working with you and continue to work with you, definitely want to continue to grow and refer more clients to you. Obviously, our businesses are complementary, like they complement one another, right?
Yeah, yeah.
SEO, web development, they go hand in hand. So, I definitely trust you in terms of SEO, and I wouldn't go to anybody else.
How is it? Have you worked with other SEO agencies ever at all, out of
Yeah,
interest?
yeah, yeah, yeah. I actually have quite a few.
Ah,
And
okay.
yeah, yeah. And so, I mean, what I found in working with the SEO agencies that I was working with before is that it would be a high dollar amount, but the delivery, the results weren't there. We're
Okay.
talking $5,000 retainers, and we weren't able to see the amount of growth and results within the period of time, within that 90-day period as we have working with you. So,
Was it
yeah.
was it a pleasant surprise to actually see stuff happen then? I mean, I always wonder whether, because bless you, I
Excuse
always
me.
wonder. That's okay. I wonder where the expectation. We had a campaign that didn't go great, and then I was like, look, let's do SEO at no cost for 12 weeks, because I want you to. I don't know. It sucks when someone's had a shit experience, and it is our fault effectively for, regardless of the reasons why. Um, was there a sense of, okay, let's try this, but if it probably won't work based upon previous experiences, or I hope it does work, but if it doesn't, it doesn't.
Right, right, most definitely. I mean, I was just in it for shits and giggles at that point, like I was like, why not? But I mean, shit, you just had, a lot of good results. It seems like in testimonials from people who had, you worked with doing SEO campaigns. So I just felt that's where your strong suit is, your foundation, right? Your
Yeah,
core, what
yeah.
what like Pro Lemons is really great at. So, and if not, I'm like, damn, they like he's a hell of a good liar then, like either way. So
Yeah, that would have sucked. That would have been the worst possible outcome. and
yeah.
and like, talking about like the challenges of working with agency partners. What Of course the results are there. What before the results came in, because obviously it's still a process. Were there any like positive indicators, or things that you felt, okay, well, this is good, this is good. At least these things are in place. How did you feel about the process of working with us,
The
I
process.
guess?
Okay, cool. For sure. That's what I was okay. I really liked it because it was a lot of in terms of SEO, when you don't know what you don't know, right? So when you're stepping into a new ball game or field, you have a lot of questions. So one thing I felt that you guys did thoroughly was obviously on-time deliveries, but also explaining the process, what this means, right? So within each Google Doc, there was a video associated with each tab explaining, hey, this is what this means, this is what we're working on, if you have questions and so forth. So that is what I found very helpful, as, not only for myself, but then also, for my clients as well, them being able to see, oh, okay, great, there's a video explaining what this is, right? Because it is a lot of information. And I think when people come into SEO, they think, oh, backlinks and, whatever those catchphrase, those money terms are, right, that hook
Yeah,
people. But then when you step into it, you're like, whoa, it's kind of like, you know, uh, um, multiple components, and it's not just one or two things. And then you kind of, what I appreciated about your approach was just kind of you all tied it together. Like it's kind of like a spider web, right?
yeah, yeah.
And then within that web, you have multiple components helping, to increase your ranking, right? So I think it was just very thorough in terms of how you explained the different parts of it, because it is a journey, right?
Yeah,
It's not just like
yeah.
one, two, three. So,
So did you actually watch it? I always wonder, because I never know. I
right.
put those videos in there to help people, help anybody who's looking at the reports. but I always wonder whether from like who watches them and who doesn't, because no one tells me, Deepak, I just watched 3 of your videos, and like, I don't. But did you actually go through some of them?
Right. Right. I did most definitely because again, there's things that I understood, but then your explanation was a little bit more in depth,
Yeah,
which gave me a better understanding as to, oh, these are actually why they're doing these things versus like, okay, well, you're kind of like when you don't know, you're like, well, why are they doing that, right? Because
yeah,
like this is what I've learned from all the crap I've seen on ads and stuff, right? So you kind of just come to this assumption, oh, this is what I'm looking for, but until you actually work with experts, you don't really know, right?
yeah,
And again, it's like multiple components that make it up
yeah.
versus like, oh, it's just one or two things. So
Absolutely, absolutely, and for me, one of the important things with that was I always think, what would if I was in Brandy's shoes, and I'm an expert in one field of web development. I've got a working knowledge of SEO because I get exposure to it, but I'm not a specialist in the space. And for someone like yourself, you've got a sufficient level of technical expertise, I feel, to ask a lot of questions, to dig, because of, I think, probably the nature of your inquisitive mind. And I've always just felt that with reporting, I kind of want to preempt or get ahead of any single question you could have. So the whole idea
right,
with the reporting was, what would I ask, or what would, if I was to play devil's advocate with myself, what would be the answer to, well, why are you building this kind of link? What's the value of it? Deepak, this website looks a bit shitty, so why are we building a link there? This is a site where we could submit content for free. What's the point of it? Why don't we just do kind of guest posts? What is a guest post, and what's a so that was
right.
kind of one of the rationales for why I started building, I don't know, a video as well as a written explanation for everything. And was that was that
Right.
is that what you found then to be useful during reporting, and when you were looking, because did you have to present some of this? You had to talk about this with your client, I guess, when he was like,
Oh
"What's going
yeah,
on?"
most definitely, most definitely. Like you have to, especially when, you're white labeling or, reselling, whatever you want to call it, right? It's you have to know, right? And you have to, as you said it yourself, be a step ahead. Excuse me, woo,
No, it's
my
okay. It's
allergies
okay.
lately.
Yeah. It's a sunny day in San Diego, I'm guessing. So
Oh, the fire season and
yeah,
what's going
California.
on.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's just been nuts here. But um yeah, your clients, especially when they're uncomfortable, let's say they're doing it for the first time, they're going to be like, hey, what's this? Oh, and then they're going to do their own research. They always do their own research. And then they're going to come to you and be like, well, I found this Google article saying, like that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But, you got to be patient with them and just let them know, hey, look, it's a spider web, and so your videos really aided in obviously the explanation I gave to my clients, and it really does allow you to be one step ahead because, it's one of those things that your rankings are going to go up, they're going to go down, they're going to go up a little, right? And it is what it is, and that's the game of it,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that's the journey of it. And I think when you set clear expectations and let people know, which I think you did a great job at, is just setting clear expectations out the front and just and just being honest and transparent. Be like, look, I'm not going to promise you, ranking to the first page for X, Y, and Z, right? It's going to take time, and you will see progress. Just know that. That coupled with obviously, again, just good explanations really allowed me to, not only educate my client, but to also educate myself on really what's a good SEO partner and provider to work with.
And how was it with like other agencies when report, because everyone has some level of reporting. How has it been
Right.
with other reporting that you received, and maybe just not even SEO, but just, I mean, SEO more more specifically, but just in general in terms of reporting? How is it? Because it's probably useful to have a comparison.
Right. So like with reporting, I would say, it was more so just them listing tasks, but not explaining the importance of it. And um, it was kind of just like, how would I describe this? It would be as if, oh, we're just, this is a piece of paper that we're proving we did the work, right?
Yeah.
It was that sort of thing. Whereas like I feel like working with you is like, okay, so everything we're doing is meaningful, right? Because it's very strategic based. When you work with other vendors, who aren't quote unquote experts, it's kind of like, it's just, you're paying for a set of tasks.
Did you ever get the
They may
feeling
or may
that
not get you to work.
did you ever get the feeling that it was almost like they were subcontracting as well, because there wasn't like
Right, right, exactly, 100%. And I'm like, okay, and because it's easy to kind of tell, right? And so, yeah, most definitely, right? You could tell it was very cookie cutter. And what I've found and realized specifically with SEO, maybe you can do that for web development or other things like that, but for SEO, it's different. It's so different. And each individual business, who their competitors are, what their search terms are,
yeah,
it varies.
yeah,
Like when you do and like that's kind of what I realized with SEO is you can't just resell that. You can't do cookie cutter. Yes, you may get some results, but if you really want to stand apart and be, ahead of the competition, that's where you need to hire an expert, because again, the research, what I found is huge,
yeah.
and a lot of those agencies don't do that. They're like, they don't really do technical SEO. And when I was like, how do you guys not do technical SEO? It's a huge part of it, right?
Oh,
So,
really? They didn't. I mean, they didn't give you any
right. I
on-site
mean,
advice. Yeah.
it was a little bit, not to the, extent, right? So just little things like that compiling up,
Yeah.
when you work with a few different companies, you start to see, you're like, okay,
You
the
notice the
difference.
signs. You notice the signs.
Right, right,
Wow,
definitely.
that's fascinating. That is because I'm I'm now a little bit blindsided because I've not hired an SEO agency for years. I've only tried once or twice before I was an SEO. So it's always fascinating to hear like what other styles of reporting are, and I've got reference points that come from perhaps a content side or what. But the challenge with SEO is that there's so many more intangibles, I feel, and you
Right,
have to explain the value of what you're doing and why you're doing it, because the result isn't immediately self-evident.
right,
You
right.
write 1,000 word blog. This is my work, and the work kind of does speak for itself. You run a PPC campaign, you track your cost per click, you can track your outcome. With web development, I'm not sure. It's a little bit of both probably, because there's a lot of development work that probably people can't always necessarily see as such.
Right.
But the outcome perhaps is a working widget, but maybe so. I've always felt that you have to explain yourself with SEO because the result is offset. You're paying today for a result that you'll get in 12 weeks, so you need to understand why we're doing what we're doing. Else, I'm reselling a bunch of links that I'm having someone else build potentially.
Right, right, exactly, exactly. And I think, with SEO it is a little bit different, right? Because with PPC those results are instant.
Yeah,
When people pay, they get leads right away, right? Web development, similar kind of thing, right? People are paying, like you said, widget. But with SEO, it's kind of the unknown, right? So if there's not an increase in traffic, your clients are going to be calling you like, Deepak, like, what the is going, and
yeah,
they're
yeah, yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
they're,
yeah.
like
Absolutely.
you got to make sure your work is speaking for yourself and, clearly explaining things. But I think also too, it's just, there has to be a level of trust. And I think whoever does do SEO, they have to be educated and just know it's going to take time. Your rankings, will go up and down in time, and that's just what to be expected, but it's going to be continue,
Yeah,
a steady
yeah.
increase though.
And how did you feel we dealt with kind of outside of the reporting? What about dialogue and answering your questions and working through those times where the video alone wasn't sufficient and you had a question, or how was that experience of working with us in terms of the communication and getting an answer for questions you might have?
Right, right. So I mean that was great as well. I mean, I swear sometimes I feel like, your employees, they don't sleep. Because they're pretty spot on, right? They answer pretty fast. Here I am enjoying my weekend and I'm just getting an email reply. I'm like, oh, I'm not going to check that right now.
Sorry.
Yeah, I'm like, but yeah, I mean, no, they're really, really great. You have a great response time, and then even a couple of times, like you reaching out and asking, hey, how are things going? And me just waiting on my developers to kind of, finish their tasks. So
Yeah,
signed, hey, we need
of
this,
course.
this done, right? So, it was really, really great.
Okay, okay, amazing. Well, Do you have, before I love you and leave you, as someone said, as they say, whoever they is there anything else that you finally would like to add for anybody who's watching this and thinking about hiring us?
Right, most definitely. So, I mean, honestly, I would just say, if you're looking at SEO, then number one, just be patient, right, with yourself and be patient with Deepak, and allow him to create a strategy for you, and just kind of shut up and just listen to him because he's the expert. Seriously, no, because when you just got to listen and allow him to show you that he can give you the results he says, because I know from working with you personally, you were honest with the results and gauging, hey, I think this is where we're going to be,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
really transparent, even if it's not necessarily what I want to hear, or, I want us to be farther in the rankings, right? But at least you were honest.
yeah,
And I knew, I was like, okay, like that's reasonable. That's great. Let's get there and then let's see where we go.
yeah,
So my advice is just listen to him, let him do his thing, and just trust that he will do it. And in time, you'll see those results. But, just again, just listen to him because he's, what you're doing. So, yeah.
Brandy, thank you. Oh, you're amazing. Thank you so much, Brandy. I really, really appreciate it. First time, guys, I've seen her on camera. What a fucking travesty. Look at this lovely lady, huh? She fucking hides herself away in a box or something like that. God knows. And I only get the pleasure of being with you on camera for the first time. One day, whether it's you in London or me in San Diego, we'll hang out, we'll have some beers, and we'll shit talk about SEO and web development, and we'll have great fun doing it.
All right, sounds good.
Guys, thank you so much, Brandy. It's been a pleasure.
All right, see you, Deepak.